Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. So for today, what I wanted to do was react to an old Jubilee video where they were asking fat people different questions and seeing if they all agreed on it. I wanted to see, as a fat person, how I would answer these questions. And I want to see also if Jubilee actually did get a diverse set of opinions on this panel, or if it was likely just pushing a message. But this is a little bit old. This is old tea. Let's go ahead and get started, though.
The fact that I have rolls on my belly doesn't make me any less of a human being.
Okay, I just want to say the absolute vitriol that she's saying that with is so extra. Hopefully it will be better in context. Okay, so I'll go ahead and answer. I'm not really, I think it's one of those things where when you're called fat in public or something, I would actually be slightly offended by it just because I wouldn't be sure how it was being used. If it's being used in like a very, very, very nasty way, then it would probably bother me in public. But online, in discourse, anything like that, whenever there's discussions about this kind of thing, I have absolutely zero offense taken. But if I were to be out in public and somebody were to be like, hey, fatty, or you're so fat, then I probably would be offended. So I don't know. I guess I'm a little bit nuanced on that. I guess I would say I somewhat agree or I somewhat disagree, or maybe I'd be right in the middle.
3, 2, 1, go.
The reason I am here is because
So very interesting that they're all not offended at all. It's just amazing. Very, very interesting. I would say that would not be true in public. I would think at least half of fat people would be offended by the word if you were to call them fat in public.
I feel like in the past, fat has been such a derogatory term, and we've been so ridiculed for the way we look. It's almost like I want to take that word back and make it a positive thing. Like, oh, someone called me fat, so negative, and be like, yes, I am. You know what I mean? Just change the way we think of it.
A lot of words that should offend me don't. I think
Can I just say the outfit is ridiculous? I'm sorry.
it's because I'm just kind of like, I don't even need the word to know your intention.
Exactly.
So I know your intention, and if you're using it to hurt me, I don't care what word you use. I care that you wanted to hurt me.
Okay, that being said, I do agree with that a bit more, just because in a public context, I don't know what somebody's actual intentions are, but you can kind of tell with tone and stuff like that. And I just think it would be kind of rude. I think people don't always realize there is somewhat of a difference between being online and being in person, but those lines are blurred all the time these days, so it's a little shaky.
I just don't look at a word like that as being
You don't want to give it power.
no, I don't want to give it weight.
Yes.
Oh, that was really cheesy. That being said, I mean, fat is a descriptor. It's kind of subjective, though. It's not like obese or super morbidly obese or anything like that. It's not a very strong word. It doesn't have strong definitions. So, I don't know. It's not my favorite, but for the sake of this channel, for the sake of everything, you guys know what I'm talking about. And so it's obviously I'm not offended. I use it in every single video, every single introduction. So it is what it is. It's how we talk about it in the general discourse. So you use what is effective.
Being plus size is a choice.
So I would say it is absolutely a choice. It's a difficult choice. Things in life are not always free choices, right? I would say almost nothing is a free choice. Most things are decisions that we have to make based on certain pressures in our lives, certain outside factors, a lot of different things. So as much as anything is a choice, it is a choice.
3,
It's not a simple choice. It's not simple in the effect of I can choose to wear this shirt today or not, but it is overall a choice. It's a choice similar to it would be a choice to get married. It would be a choice to graduate from college or high school. It's a choice that is accumulation of a lot of different choices. There may be some factors going on, but at the end of the day, you could still do it, even if you had to do it differently or whatever. That's more of what it is. So I would say I agree.
2, 1, go.
Of course. So, like I said, I'm not seeing a lot of diversity in terms of opinion within this panel, and I think Jubilee did a really poor job at choosing people.
I'm only standing on this one and not strongly disagree because some people do like try to be plus size. Like there's like lots of people in the gay community that are called like do try to be bigger, but
Why is he talking about that? Okay, I'm going to have to edit that. I didn't realize he was going to go there. Anyways, gonna have to bleep that out. Thanks a lot. Making it easier, dude.
I don't think it's necessarily a choice. So that's the only reason why I'm not strongly disagreeing.
You hear the woman head. Yes, I feel that. So it's only a choice if you're choosing to gain weight, but it's not a choice to choose to lose. That doesn't make any sense.
I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. Everyone was so happy for me. I hated myself. I hated the way I looked. I hated why I exercised.
So she hated herself when she was thin, but she's fine with how she is now. Okay.
Like that. And so I made a conscious decision of my parents are not going to be supportive, or maybe they won't like it. My community, the Korean community, is going to be really disappointed that there's a fat Korean walking around the world.
I will say one of my best friends is super into K-pop and is definitely not okay in that culture at all. Just saying.
But it was a choice for me to say, well, I don't want to work out 8 hours a day every day and hate what I look like to be skinnier. So I'm going to let myself eat more than a quarter cup of white rice today.
If eating slightly more than a quarter cup of white rice is getting you to be a lot bigger, then you have other factors going on. You probably have hormonal issues that need to be addressed. Or you're just lying and you're eating way, way, way more than what you're saying.
I disagree because I believe in society, especially in America, we have this idea that, oh yeah, all fat people ate themselves that way. That
is the actual facts. Unless if you're trying to suggest that you have osmosis, you're getting calories from the air or from the sun, then you agree that you ate your way to being fat as well. What the heck are you actually saying? Who did they get on this panel? Sorry. Who did they get on this panel?
they just sit at home and they're lazy and they don't do anything and they ate themselves that way. But they don't take into account people who have a disease. They don't take into account
diseases are supposed to be treated and dealt with, not just accepted and just chug along forever.
people who work out and their body is just built that way.
That's not true. It doesn't make sense. A disease is a way that your body has shifted from what it's supposed to be, with the exception of something like genetic diseases, that kind of thing, which is totally different than what we're talking about. But something like hypothyroidism, which is something I talk a lot about on this channel, that is not how you're naturally supposed to be. If you have eaten yourself that way, or you've messed up your metabolism through repeated dieting, through certain foods that you're eating that are harming the thyroid or slowing it down, that would be something that you still did. And maybe that you did it because it was the most available food. Maybe it was fast food and you felt like that was the most convenient and the easiest thing to do. And so you just do it over and over and over again. But at the end of the day, that's going to make you fat over time. If you look at other decisions people make, some people live in abusive relationships, for example. Those are going to be really difficult situations, or they stay in a toxic work environment. Those are very stressful situations. Those may not be easy choices, but they are still choices that you're making that can put your body in a stress state that will make it easier to gain weight and make you depend more on highly palatable foods. If you're struggling with an addiction as far as binge eating, that's still something that is causing you to gain weight, and it's a psychological issue from trauma, usually rooted in childhood. And if you're not doing anything to resolve that, that is also a choice that you're making. So there really isn't any excuses other than you not caring about yourself, which is the actual perception, which is mostly true. Now, if somebody is on a path of recovery, it can take a very long time. And I do think that the greater society needs to understand that these things take time. But somebody who's saying things like this, they're clearly not with it. Period. Let's go ahead and continue.
There are all of these other factors that the average person who's judging people don't take into account, and they just look at someone and they say, oh, you're fat and you're not doing anything about it.
But I also want to throw out there, like, it is possible that people have eaten themselves to that point, but then you look at, like, why did that happen? Like, there's trauma, there's rough coping mechanism.
Yes, but you do something about it. I don't understand these people. They're like, all this stuff happened, but you just deal. Oh, well, you just accept it and you just let it be forever. Okay, I guess I'm doing this fat thing very wrong.
There's so many different things that can lead to somebody resorting to that and then eating themselves into this situation. Because I know that's what happened to me. I didn't choose it, but it happened.
Okay, well, why didn't you change anything or try to resolve that trauma or try to heal anything? Why do you just accept it? But of course, moving on to the next prompt.
I've been criticized for my size.
Strongly agree. It's usually from family, but it has happened online. It is a go-to insult when you say something that people don't like. People will use things about your appearance or your identity to attack you. It's very typical online. But within my family, I have been heavily criticized for my size and in general. But I'd say it's really those two things. It's a lot less being criticized by my school or just acquaintances, people in public, people at the grocery store. It's much more likely to be family and people online.
Come on, everyone.
When I first went back to Korea, which is like the country of my parents, and like it was amazing for me, and I was like, wow, I look like everyone else, right? Like, this is my home country. This is supposed to be my place. It's not my place because I'm fat. And so walking down the street, people are like, do you know how easy it is for you to get liposuction here? They won't even scar.
Yes, but I'm sure that a lot of them would say that America is the most fat-phobic country in the world, or they act that way. Fat phobia is the default of the world. And people in other countries, they're a lot more honest about this kind of thing because it's not as common. And a lot of people in America are very focused on being polite rather than being honest. So when you go somewhere else, you can really see the difference. And it can be a little scarring.
People feel that they have the right to come up to you and impose their views onto you about your personal body. The fact that I have rolls on my belly and big thighs doesn't make me any less of a human being. My body is not for you. I didn't ask you. That's it.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how often they're going through that, but I don't know. It's just a thing that people do. People comment on people's bodies. They say, oh, you look good. Or they say, oh, that shirt doesn't look good on you. It makes you look fat. That's how people talk. I don't know. I mean, I guess go ahead and be upset about something that's probably never going to change. It's something that people have done literally forever, for all of human history. But whatever.
I want to lose weight.
They're all going to say no. I'm going to say yes. So I will be in the strongly agree category. But I'm sure, I'm sure.
3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, somebody wants to. Okay. I'm a little surprised.
The reason like I hesitated so much is because I will love the way I look no matter what. At the same time, like
Okay, I just want to say too, how odd is it that they talked all that and then they're like, but I do want to lose weight. Weird. Super, super weird. I don't know. There's so much doublespeak in this type of thing. It drives me nuts. I just wish people would be more honest and upfront.
if I like was to keep dancing and keep going to the gym and all this, and then I just like happened to lose weight, like I'd also be like, cool, I'll just love myself no matter what, is pretty much what I'm saying.
Oh, bye. See ya.
I want to be here because this is like the work that I do, and I feel like doing this is gonna like I feel like being here, someone's gonna say something to me and be like, oh, like you aren't for body positivity, you aren't for fat activism, you aren't for liberation, but like that has nothing to do with anybody else besides me. I think like if I say
That's kind of a cope, and I think it is hypocritical, honestly. I don't think you should be. You can push for some kind of fat activism in the sense of getting education, trying to help people to fix the issue, trying to educate people that don't struggle with the issue. That's what I do. But you cannot be a part of fat acceptance and then try to lose weight. That is the opposite of accepting fatness. You are not accepting it. So it is highly hypocritical. But as the saying goes, this person wants to have their cake and eat it too, which is oh so ironic.
this, and I'm not being honest with myself and saying like, you know what, sometimes I do think about losing weight, because I do, and like everyone does.
Because there's privileges when you're smaller. So it's like, it's natural
Okay, here we go.
to think I want to be smaller because there's so many more options for me if I'm smaller, but I don't want to lose weight.
I love how they didn't really talk about the other people that much.
People get more privileges.
Okay, so I don't know. I think it depends on how you define privilege. If I think of what thin privilege would be, in my opinion, it would just be being able to fit into things because you're of a more average size, so not having certain issues like riding a plane, for example, or not having the health issues that come along with it. I do think that there are some benefits as far as like dating, career, right? A lot of these things, but I think they're a lot more tangential and they can also be overcome or dealt with by personality or sociability or other factors. Or, like within dating, somebody could be attracted to people that are of a bigger size. It doesn't really, attraction in dating is very individual anyways. So although I can see the benefits of some things being opened up, there are some issues, as I discussed. My best friend, he is fit. He is also gay. He has to deal with people that will SA him in public or try to do that kind of stuff. There is probably more harassment of people that are thinner. And in some ways, when you are thinner, you cannot have certain opinions, or, they kind of make it this weird thing these days. And you're never allowed to feel negatively about your body and, just a lot of weird things. So they've kind of, I don't know, they kind of ruined it if it did exist. Like I said, though, I do think, I personally don't care. I still want to lose weight regardless because I know that the health things are what's real. But I will not deny that there are some social benefits to being thin, but there are some drawbacks as well. I hope that we can move forward as a culture. The conversations about bodies, they are always weird. It's just kind of how they are. So I think people just have to be able to express themselves regardless, even if it offends people, because it always will.
3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, wait. I went the wrong way.
For me, since I am a dancer, it is the most annoying thing. Like, I go to auditions and I'm the only like plus size person there. And literally, if you go to a concert and see an artist, you will like never see someone that looks like me dancing back up for like Chris Brown. All they care about is, oh, sex sells, and plus size isn't sexy, which it is obviously, but they can't get that, out of their heads. That's
Okay, it's weird. I don't know. Those kind of conversations are really odd to me just because it's like, of course it's good, but they don't think it is at all. It's like, well, I don't know. I guess it's not their aesthetic. It's not what they're wanting.
What kept you, though, from on the strongly agree?
I don't really know. I just felt like it was like, it's like a big choice.
The world is created with smaller bodies in mind. Like everything we experience, when you sit in a folding chair, when you go on an airplane, when you go to the movie theater, and the unfortunate truth is our population is not that small. So just like organically speaking, smaller people have bigger privileges because the world is designed like for them.
Yes, but I think that we need to try to be resolving this issue, not further entrenching it, not changing society to make these things more rooted. This is an issue that we should be resolving within the years and decades to come. And I will do my best, and I think everybody should do their best. This is probably one of the most pressing issues in this country, because if we do not solve this issue, we will have a lot of problems in the years to come.
I had to quit a whole career because of my size. Like, I got my first degree in musical theater performance. I was ready to go to Broadway. And then through college, I gained 65 pounds. And not only did I watch my professors lose interest in me, but I watched casting people lose interest in me. And that's how I ended up in education, because I want to teach that that's not okay. You can play any role, because that's what's baffling to me, is that we're in an age where in theater, we can suspend our disbelief that like animals can talk and things like that, but we can't accept that a plus size person could have somebody fall in love with them unless it's hairspray. Like that's
So that's actually really funny. I think that a lot of creative types, they're actually the most harsh. They're the most vicious with their judgment, and they're the most focused on optics and how things look. It is hilarious to me, just because I just did a video about how the gay community is the least accepting, and I think a lot of gay people are in theater, so a lot of gay men anyways. So it's kind of one of those things. I will say it's sad, but it doesn't surprise me. People are really mean in those spheres. And I think that kind of stuff can be really toxic, just because people should be able to do things if they have the talent. Does that make any sense? No, I get it, I guess, if somebody's like, I don't want this aesthetic, blah, blah, blah. But I would hire the best actor for the role. That's how I would do it. And yes, fat people do fall in love all the time, right? So I don't know. I mean, it's not like it's, I don't know. It's just odd to me. But I thought theater was supposed to be fun anyways, right? I guess not. I guess it's more than that. But anyways, it's kind of sad. But at the same time, there is some responsibility on her side too. So if that is a part of the industry, then she would have to try to resolve that. And I don't know what to say. If you don't want to deal with it, you don't have to. As people say, you can lose weight or you can try to do something else. But I do think that there's nothing wrong with having something other than hairspray. If that makes any sense. I notice a lot of people in theater, they do get insecure because they're they're treated very, very harshly. So I think academia in general is just very harsh, and like creative fields like theater in Hollywood are very, very harsh and they need to change. So some of those things need to shift because it's not even just the fatness issue. I think a lot of those industries and those areas of life, they tend to also be more racist, more, like for me, I would not be able to get a role because I'm too feminine, right? They're very, very, very toxically judgmental and bigoted, honestly, in my opinion. So it's part of a bigger issue, but I get her gripe there. I do. I think it's unfair. If she had the talent, then she had the talent. It's not right.
Only story we get, and that's infuriating.
I love my body. 3, 2, 1.
So I would say that I do at this point. I definitely do because I take care of it every single day. I think about my body every single day. Every decision I'm making is for my body at this point. I did a lot of years of not doing that and I paid the price, and I will never take it for granted ever again. So I would say strongly agree at this point.
I love my body, but it took a lot of time to get there. When I graduated college and I was in like the biggest place that I've ever been, I was in a depression that I can't even like begin to explain about it. And then when I went off to grad school, I was like, something has to change. New city, new me. And so I got up every morning and I looked in the mirror and I was like, what can I like about myself today? And I learned how to just love every little part of me because it is mine. It belongs to me. And if I don't love it, who is going to?
So what keeps you there?
That it took so much time to get there.
In being plus size, I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's here for me, and it's got me this far. It's sabotaged me in a lot of ways, and that's its own journey. I just think for like a lot of like younger folks, like when I was your age or younger, people said either hate your body or love your body. I wasn't either way, and I was in the middle, and so you feel so stuck, and so you feel so alone. And it's this idea of it's okay if you don't love your body. It's okay if you're not obsessed with it. Just be kind to yourself, and that's good.
I have to say, I do think that there is a place for body neutrality, especially within a weight loss journey. I have to say, although I do love my body, I'm not body positive, I'm body neutral, just because when you are so focused on it, like how it looks, I care about it as an entity, right? So I take care of it, I do what's best for it, I do that kind of thing. But when it comes to am I positive or negative about it, I would say I'm neutral, just because I've talked a lot about the fact that when you are on a weight loss journey, it can be very, very harsh to constantly focus on how you look. I think it's better to just be neutral about the way that your body looks throughout the duration of your transformation and maybe even after, because you don't want to have any strange views by obsessing over it. So I do think that she is touching on something that I do agree with for sure.
Enough. If you can be kind to your best friend, you can be kind to yourself. And so that is why I am here.
Every morning I'll wake up and I will like get out of bed and I'll look in the mirror and I will literally just like I'll rub like my chest, like rub my stomach, I'll like shake my ass and like touch my thighs and like I want to like shower myself with love every day. And that's like really important to me, to give myself the time to be like, oh, I appreciate my body for what it does for me. Like, do I want to change? Sometimes, sure. Will it? Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But like at the end of the day, like I will love it regardless because it is like a home for me and my soul.
Yeah, that was kind of odd. I would say it was kind of in between. So I would say he probably doesn't, just based on that assessment. But let's see, I think that's everything.
Sweaty group hug. Oh, we're gonna twerk out?
Good humans, thanks for sticking around.
I do think it's funny that they didn't really... It seems like, at least, they didn't have any straight men on this panel. I think that's kind of interesting. That was an interesting choice, for sure. I would say probably because most straight men would not say what they wanted to be said or what they wanted to hear. So that was kind of hilarious. Total miss there. But overall, my final thoughts on it, I would say that Jubilee did not do a good job getting a balanced panel here. It was very much a lot, heavily skewed feminine, which I don't mind if something's feminine, but it was a bit much to the effect where, like, sometimes when a group of feminine people are together, people don't always want to disagree or say something different because they feel like they're stepping on toes, or again, femininity is correlated with agreeableness. Unless if you're like me, that's my one massively masculine trait that I do have, is I'm very disagreeable. So if I was on this panel, I would absolutely disagree if I did. But most people that are feminine are not like that. So I think it was kind of a missed shot there. I think that people maybe weren't completely honest about how they felt about their body or about the prompts. But overall, it was entertaining, I guess, which is all Jubilee really wants. But it wasn't very educational or anything. It was just kind of the same things that we hear over and over again. But I will say that it really has gotten so much worse in recent years, because this wasn't the absolute worst. It was bad enough that I have to edit part of what that one guy said. Which, hey, why do I have to edit it? But Jubilee didn't have to. But anyways, I'm not going to take the risk because anyways, you guys, with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a good rest of your day, night, whatever. If you like this, please do like the video. I will talk to you guys soon. I hope you enjoyed this. Have a good night, y'all. Day, whatever. Talk soon. Bye-bye.